Smoking causes cancer. Smoking kills. Liquor drinking is injurious to health.
If you've ever felt like love doesn't always follow the rules, if you've ever questioned what's right versus what's real, then buckle up because Forbidden Bonds isn't just a movie. It's a gut punch wrapped in velvet, a whisper that echoes long after the credits roll. And before we dive in, can watch Forbidden Bonds legally right now on Prime Video, Apple TV, and Google Play Movies. Support the creators, don't pirate it. They poured their hearts into this. Now, here's something I need you to do right now. If you love your father, hit that subscribe button. If you love your mother, drop a comment below that says, I love you, mom. Go ahead, I'll wait. Because this story, it's about family, about loyalty, about the invisible lines we're told never to cross, and what happens when we do. Welcome back to MN Media, your home for honest, heartfelt, and spoiler rich deep dives into the films that move us. Today we're unpacking one of 2025's most talked about dramas, Forbidden Bonds, directed by rising indie powerhouse Lina Cho, written by Oscar nominated scribe Marcus Delroy, and starring breakout talents Bailey, Shibinette, Brad Manley, and veteran stage actress Rebecca Parent. This film has sparked debates at dinner tables, heated threads on Reddit, and tears in more than a few theater aisles. Let's start with the basics. Forbidden Bonds premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in January 2025 to a 7-minute standing ovation. Critics called it devastatingly tender, a moral labyrinth with no exit, and the kind of film that rewires your empath. Was acquired by A24 within 48 hours and released wide on February 14 to 25. Yes, Valentine's Day. Ironic, absolutely, but perfect. Box office wise, Forbidden Bonds opened modestly with thriller 2 million across 800 theaters. But thanks to word of mouth and TikTok clips going viral, it held strong for 6 straight weeks. As of today, February 23rd, 2026, it's grossed over 47 million worldwide against a $5 million budget. Not Marvel numbers, sure, but for a slow, burn drama about ethical ambiguity and repressed longing, that's a triumph. Now, who's behind the magic? Director Lina Cho, known for her 2022 short, Still Water, brings an almost surgical precision to every frame. Her use of natural light, tight close ups, and lingering silences makes you feel like you're eavesdropping on real lives. Screenwriter Marcus Delroy, who previously penned The Quiet Divide, spent 2 years researching familial estrangement, adoption ethics, and the psychology of blurred boundaries, which explains why every line in this script feels lived in, not written. And the cast, let's break it down. Bailey Shibinette plays Elise Carter, a 22-year-old protagonist whose return home unravels decades of buried truth. Shibinette, a Juilliard graduate making her feature debut, delivers a performance so raw and restrained. It's hard to believe she's new to the screen. You'll forget you're watching acting, you'll just feel like you're watching Elise breathe. Brad Manley is Daniel Reeves, Elise's childhood neighbor, now a quiet handyman with eyes that hold entire novels. Manley, best known for his role in the HBO series Rust Belt, trades his usual swagger for something softer, more haunted. His chemistry with Shibinette isn't explosive, it simmers. And that's what makes it dangerous. Then there's Rebecca Parent as Margaret Carter, Elise's mother. Parent, a Tony Award winner with decades of stage experience, brings regal sorrow to every scene. She doesn't yell. She doesn't collapse. She just carries. And in doing so, she becomes the emotional spine of the entire film. Supporting roles include Julian Reyes as Pastor Cole and young Mia Tran as Lily, Elise's half sister, whose innocent questions cut deeper than any accusation. Now, let's walk through the story, scene by scene, no fluff, just truth. ACT only opens on a rainy bus stop in rural Oregon. Elise steps off, duffel bag slung over her shoulder, hoodie pulled tight. She hasn't been home in 4 years, not since her father's funeral. The town looks smaller, older. The camera lingers on peeling paint, rusted mailboxes, the kind of decay that happens when hope leaks out slowly. She walks to the Carter house, a modest farmhouse with a sagging porch. Inside, Margaret is baking bread, flour on her apron, radio playing soft jazz. No dramatic music, no tearful reunion, just silence. And then you're late. That's it. 2 words. But in parents' delivery, they carry years of hurt, fear, and unspoken apology. Over the next few scenes, we learn Elise dropped out of college, worked odd jobs across the West Coast, and hasn't spoken to her mom since the will reading when she discovered her father left everything to family but named no beneficiaries. Suspicious? Yes. But grief makes people messy. Enter Daniel. He's fixing the porch railing. Same flannel shirt he wore in high school. Same shy smile. Their reunion is awkward, polite even. But watch their hands. Watch how they don't quite touch, but always almost do. That's where the tension lies. One night, Elise finds an old shoebox in the attic. Inside, letters, dozens of them, all addressed to her father from a woman named Clara. Postmarked between 1998 and 2003 and signed, Love, your sister. Except Elise's dad was an only child. Cue the first major twist. Clara wasn't his sister. She was his first wife. And she had a daughter. Margaret refuses to talk about it. Some doors stay closed for a reason, she says, kneading dough with furious calm. But Elise can't let it go. She tracks down Clara's last known address, now a boarded up trailer outside Bend. There, she meets Lily, age 10, living with a foster aunt. Lily shows her a photo of her mom, Clara, standing next to Elise's father. They look happy. And here's the kicker, Clara is holding baby Elise. Wait, what? Yes, Elise wasn't Margaret's biological daughter. She was adopted after Clara died in a car crash. Margaret and her husband took her in, raised her as their own, and never told her. But here's where Forbidden Bonds gets truly uncomfortable. Daniel knew. He found out when he was 16, helping Margaret clean out the garage. And he never told Elise. Their confrontation happens in the barn during a thunderstorm. Rain hammers the roof. Elise is shaking, not from cold, but betrayal. All those years you looked at me and saw a lie. Daniel doesn't defend himself. He just says, I saw you, only you, and then, oh God, the kiss. It's not passionate, It's desperate, like two drowning people grabbing the same plank, and it lasts exactly 9 seconds, long enough to change everything. TWO begins with fallout. Margaret finds out about the kiss, not from gossip, from Lily, who innocently mentions, Elise and Daniel kissed like in my Disney movie. Margaret goes pale, not angry, terrified. Why? Because Margaret knows something no one else does. Daniel isn't just the handyman, he's Clara's son, which means he and Elise aren't just childhood friends, they're half siblings. The revelation hits like a freight train. Flashbacks show Margaret meeting teenage Daniel after Clara's death, taking him in for weekends, paying for his braces, treating him like a nephew, but never telling Elise he was family because she didn't want Elise to feel replaced or confused. Now, the ethical nightmare unfolds. Elise and Daniel didn't know. But does ignorance erase consequence? The film refuses easy answers. Instead, sits in the discomfort. In one devastating scene, Elise visits Lily and asks, do you think it's bad to love someone you're not supposed to? Lily, coloring a unicorn, says, my teacher says love isn't bad. Secrets are. Meanwhile, Pastor Cole delivers a sermon on Leviticus about forbidden unions. The congregation glances at Elise and Daniel, who sit separately now, eyes down. The weight of judgment is palpable. Margaret finally breaks. In the kitchen, her sanctuary, she confesses everything to Elise. Not with tears, but with trembling hands as she stirs soup. I thought I was protecting you. From pain, from shame, from yourself. Elise doesn't yell. She just whispers, you stole my truth, and then you let me fall in love with it. ACTTHRE is quieter, more internal. Elise moves into a motel. Daniel stops coming around. Lily draws pictures of my two big sisters and mails them to both houses. The town buzzes, but the film ignores it, focusing instead on faces, glances, the unbearable space between people who used to fit together. The climax isn't a courtroom or a shouting match. It's a simple phone call. Elise calls Daniel from a payphone. She says, I don't regret kissing you. He says, I don't either. And that's it. No grand declaration, no running into each other's arms. Just acknowledgement and release. The final scene, Elise returns home, not to stay, but to say goodbye properly. She and Margaret sit on the porch at dawn. No words, just coffee steam curling in the cold air. Then Elise places a photo on the table. Her, Daniel, Lily, and Margaret, taken the summer before everything changed. We're still family, she says. Just different. Margaret nods, and for the first time, she reaches out and takes her daughter's hand. Fade to black. Audience reactions. Mixed but deeply emotional. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a 92% critics score but only a 68% audience score. Why the gap? Because this isn't a feel good movie. It doesn't give you catharsis. It gives you questions. Reddit threads debate whether Elise and Daniel's relationship was truly forbidden. If they didn't know, they were consenting adults after all. Others argue biology doesn't dictate morality. Meanwhile, adoption advocates praise the film for highlighting the trauma of hidden origins. Social media exploded over Bailey Shibinette's performance. Fab Ellis deserved better trended for weeks. Brad Manley gained 2 million Instagram followers overnight. And Rebecca Perrin, she's already rumored to be on the shortlist for Best Supporting Actress at next year's Oscars. So, what's the takeaway? Forbidden Bonds isn't really about incest. It's about the stories we tell ourselves to survive, about how love can be both healing and destructive, about how families are built not just by blood but by choice and silence, and sometimes by lies meant to protect. If you haven't seen it yet, do. Legally, on Prime Video, Apple TV, or Google Play. Rent it, buy it. Just don't steal it. These artists bled for this story. And hey, if this review moved you, do me a favor, subscribe to MN Media. We drop deep dives like this every week. No clickbait, no fluff, just real talk about movies that matter. And if you love your mom, type I love you mom in the comments. Let's flood this thread with love. Before you go, check out our other videos, The Hidden Symbolism in Eclipse Hour or Why Glass Orchard is the most underrated film of the decade. Both are linked below. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay kind, and remember, sometimes the most forbidden bond is the one we have with our own truth.